All righty, good morning, everybody. Got a full house today. Chuck, Lindy, and Joseph. How about that?
Good morning.
Good morning, sports fans.
Hey, Chuck. Good to see y'all. Just going to give people a few more minutes to hop in here. Normally, I get started 5 after the hour. Take this time to check in. How's everyone doing?
I'm good. Hey,
Great.
Chuck.
I'm craving roast duck.
Yeah,
I'm doing great.
After the morning I had, sir, you and me both. You'll notice my entourage is back here with me today, not in their pen where they should be, because we're doing some remodeling in the house. So we've got two of the least well-behaved animals imaginable, like right here. So if they get loud, if they get a little bit loud during this, I'm gonna have to just pause things, mute myself, let them quiet down, and then I'll get started back again. But that's awesome, man. Craven roast duck. I dig that. Yeah, today. What's that, boss?
If they get loud, you just lean out the window and yell, "Shut the duck up."
Yeah, I could. I don't think it'll do much. Hey, shut the
Chuck, you're like king of the bad dad jokes.
Hey, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, Lindy.
man. Keep Joseph trained up on that. He's getting good at the dad jokes.
Did you say king of the dad jokes or the bad jokes?
Yes.
Well played, Joseph.
You know what's funny though is my wife is actually probably better at dad jokes than I am, which is like I'm both proud and also emasculated at the same time.
I never thought I'd hear those two words used in the same sentence.
Right?
And emasculated.
Proud
and proud.
All right, y'all. Let's kick this off here. We're going to do our best, team. We're going to do our very best today. All right. That's all that matters. So I'm going to go ahead now and start my screen recording. Looks like we're good to go on my end. Alrighty. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to week, I think 28 of this particular series of the Smart Lab meetings here on Wednesdays. My name is Todd Holland. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Smart Shark. I'm also a clearly failed duck farmer because I've got my ducks indoors with me and not where they need to be. So in terms of having my ducks in a row, very much do not. All that is to say, let's get going. So today's call is going to be one that I've been wanting to do for a while. And let me just get my browser open here so we can jump in. This call is going to be all around kind of one thing. Normally I'll like touch on a technology element on a call with you guys, and then we'll jump into mastermind stuff. But I've actually got a pretty cool announcement midway through this presentation that will hopefully give you guys a lot of guidance on where to go for any support that you need moving forward. And it's not just for the people on this call with us, it's for everybody watching this video after the fact, and who will watch this replay later on down the line. So again, week 28, today I'd like to focus on building an AI chatbot assistant. This is something that I've been wrestling with finding a tool that has a use case for every industry of business that we have under our umbrella at Smart Shark. I build a lot of stuff out for service-based industries, high-ticket service-based industries, but again, that's not the only application here. So what we have with the AI chatbot assistant is something that any business, be it a real estate brokerage, a marketing platform, an insurance agency, a fractional real estate broker, whatever you do for a living, a marketer, you'll be able to use this video to build something that will take ideally a few hours of follow up and work out of your week in the beginning and eventually scale up into being an asset that will not just save you time, but also make you a bit of money and generate revenue for you too. So let's get going right now. I'm going to minimize my face here. Joseph, I've made you co-host, my good man. If someone tries to hop in on this call a little bit late, just buzz them in for me if you don't mind. That would be super helpful. And let's just kick this thing right off. So for the agenda, so first of all, I want to check in on all of you, see how everyone's doing. We did that. We're going to talk about what an AI chatbot assistant is, like what actually we're talking about when we build one out, why you might need one. And then finally, the meat of this call is going to be how do you build / buy one. I recognize not everyone is in build mode in there. That's not the season that they're in. They want to just have something that works. So even if you plan to buy one from somebody, like pay someone to build you a chatbot, this call will be helpful because it'll help you understand what goes into that, and you get a bit more of an idea of the ingredients behind the cake that you ordered, so to speak. But for the most part, this will be designed to people who want to spend maybe an hour or two building and training a chatbot for a specific purpose, rather than, you know, finding someone to outsource the work to. So if all that makes sense, if we're good to go with that, let's just do a quick check-in here. Just want to make sure everyone's doing well. If there's any issues or struggles that you want addressed ASAP. I do want to point you into the direction of 3 resources. Again, not just the people on this call, but everybody across the board. Smart SOP is actually my own version of this built out chatbot structure here. Let me just hop into my the account that I want to be working in here so I can show you all. Todd Holland Duck Farm Ltd. So Smart SOP is this little thing down here, where I literally built this chatbot out so it like looks and feels like bear with me guys, sorry. Okay, that looks and feels like a chatbot we'd be building. So this one right here, if you want an example of what they look like, this is what that is. Basically, it's a regular, you ask it a question and it gives you a response based on information that you trained it with. So for this one here, it's like, how do I generate buyer leads for my real estate business? You know, I use the online listing feature, reputation stuff, which is built in here. You've got marketing campaigns, blog posts, social media opportunities. So again, this is highly tailored because like we're a software company, not a real estate training company, for example. So this is tailored to software solutions that we can provide to help real estate agents, you know, find more business. What you'd probably want to train this as is something a little bit different, where like the general answer would be, how do you generate buyer leads? You know, you put together an SOP on that and what that looks like here. So that's really in a nutshell what one of these, looks like, what it is. And I wanted to show you all that in the context of like the support thing, where you can ask that thing any marketing questions you have at this point, any software questions you have at this point. We have a support ticket system that's also built into your dashboard. Really simple. You can go down here, Smart Shark Support. And if you want to write into myself, this is the ideal way to submit a ticket to us for anything going on. Obviously, you can email us. You can find us on direct messenger. We don't mind helping anybody in that way. In fact, we encourage it a lot of the time. But if it's something that you want to make sure gets to the right person, and you don't know who that right person is, a lot of times it's easier just to go in here, click submit a ticket, and then be able to just write in like, you know, who am I, what's my name, what's the subject, and then you can choose what kind of a question here, where it's like, hey, I want a new feature added, or I'm having a bug, right? I'm seeing something's messed up, or I have a question on billing. You can do that. And I have this programmed in our system in the back end to forward this to the person who it's most relevant to. And that's the second little layer of support. And then the third layer of support that I wanted to announce today. And so Jonathan is opening up a Friday coaching session. Every Friday, he's going to be coaching on like mindset, and basically doing that whole round robin of what are your wins, what are your challenges. He enjoys that a lot more than I do. I like talking about technology. He likes talking with people. So if what you're looking for is like a mastermind style mindset conversation, just know that every Friday, Jonathan's going to be hosting that. And our Wednesday calls are going to be mainly on tech and marketing. Our Monday calls with Joseph is going to be a combination of funnels and build your machine style stuff. Sorry, guys, this is going to be unwieldy, and I realize this, but so what is a chatbot assistant, right? A chatbot assistant is basically a chatbot, a conversation or back and forth powered by AI that answers questions about a knowledge base. So it's like having a personal chat GPT for your business. And again, whatever business that is, I highly recommend investing some time in learning this and putting it together. Some of the benefits of having one of these, obviously increasing customer satisfaction is number one. Having somebody like on, not somebody, but a robot on call that can answer questions and be able to provide guidance and support at all hours of the day will lead to greater retention. Greater retention will lead to more money. It's a massive cost reduction because the alternative to building a chatbot like this is hiring a live agent, and training that live agent can be very time consuming, and you don't always know that it's the right thing for your customers. There's human error. There's a lot of cost, both realized and unrealized, associated with hiring an agent for that. And then you've got team training and client onboarding, right? So if you're building a team out, if you're teaching someone new, or if you're onboarding a client, you can use an AI chatbot for this. Case in point, Lindy, for your marketing platform, you can have your entire onboarding be an automated back and forth conversation where, instead of forcing them to fill a form out, you're having your people, answer questions the chatbot delivers to them one by one, and then taking that data and using it to create like a brilliant directories account. Similarly, Chuck, if there's compliance stuff that is like super important that every one of your fractional brokerage clients needs to know about, you can program one chatbot with all that information and plug that into each one of their accounts or sub accounts. So then they have basically access to your brain, what's in your brain 24/7, and they can book a time with you directly from there too, which leads me to number 4, leads, follow up, and conversion. So one of the, we're a marketing and sales software company. So one of the most important things is being able to follow up with leads and convert them into appointments. And so this thing will actually, if programmed the right way, will have that conversation, not only have that conversation, but also steer the prospect to the point where you would want them to be. So for us, it's a phone call, right? For Lindy, maybe it's signing up for a seat of brilliant directors. For Chuck, maybe it's also a phone call. Like, we don't know, but whatever that is, whatever that endpoint is, you can program that in fairly effectively. And then, so the last question before I actually show y'all how to build one of these is build or buy, right? So I'm not going to get on a high horse and say like, oh, you should all be able to build yours because I should be able to cook dinner without having a mental breakdown. But hey, this is where we are in 2023, right? If you are not in the position to build one of these, you don't have the time, you're probably going to want to buy one, which is totally fine. If you do decide you want to buy one from somebody, it still would benefit you to go through this process with me, so you know what goes into a chatbot, so you don't get like duped or sold weirdly by a marketer, or it's not a regulated industry. You can kind of say whatever you want. And so before beginning this and showing you how to build this out, does anybody have any questions about this subject matter specifically before I jump into it?
I'm good.
Okay, very good. How's the noise level back here? It's rough?
All I hear is you.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump into it then. So the place to go if you want to build this chatbot out, first of all, you go into your settings and you drop down to conversation AI. That's the name of the bot here in the system. And the first thing you want to do is decide whether you want to have like autopilot control, which is brand new, so it'll send messages automatically. Suggestive, which is within a chat window. And then if you don't want to have this at all. So I recommend suggestive moving forward because that's where you want it to be. I know it's a little bit not super clear, but just know that this one is if you don't plan to train it at all. The autopilot suggestive is the one you want, and then off is if you don't want to use it altogether. Next up is the various channels that we have here. So you can have this bot operate on your Instagram and Facebook. You can have it operate via text message. You can have it operate from the chat widget. That's this little, when you go into any one of our sites, your little chat bubble in the bottom that says like, hey, how can we help you? So that's that. Just so you know, conversations that take place in that chat widget will be sent to you via SMS. Like that's how it categorizes that. And you've got live chat, which is like a little bit different. It's the one-on-one chat that you have going on within conversations. Okay, so I'm going to choose for my channels SMS, Instagram, and Facebook for our intents and purposes. Advanced setting. If you're something that is like, if you have a different business name, like a fictitious business name from what's registered here in the system, you want to write that in here. So if it's like, I'm Todd Holland Broker for my real estate brokerage side of things, but like that's not the name that I want to have here. It's Grobecker Holland International because that is the DBA that my partner and I are using for what we want to do. So I would go here and write what I want to be referred to as, if that makes sense. You can set the autopilot time here. So I would say that you want to have this be like not more than 30 seconds because like you don't want it instantly, because if it's instantly, it'll look like a robot. And you don't want it 2 minutes because the average attention span is like, a minute. So
Todd, can you make that just a little bit bigger?
yeah, I can do that. Is that a little better?
Much better. Thank you.
You got it. And so I like 30 seconds here, not more than a minute, not less than like 10 seconds. And the maximum messages that the bot can have. So how many like actual messages back and forth can you have? Like I like to really not have these conversations go on too long before trying to push them to hop on with me. So you can go 20, you can go 10. I wouldn't go like an infinite number, like, oh, I'm going to automate my whole sales process, and just work your way up to that is my recommendation. When you have your settings looking kind of like what you'd like, hit save, and then we're going to get into actually training the bot. So training the bot is fairly simple nowadays, where we've kind of set up a scraper system, which will go into any URL that you have, and it'll scrape that URL for content to answer questions, right? And so if we're looking here, I'm sending people, it might be a little hard to see, I'm trying to make it bigger. I'm having the bot gather information from the GoHighLevel support site, because again, what is this bot going to do for me? It's going to be a support agent where people like, I have a question about the software, they write into my bot, and then this comes out. Now, if you want to have a different use case, right? Let's say what you're doing is you're having your fractional brokerage clients have like a compliance chat where they can ask questions about the TREC, TREC laws and bylaws and whatever the case is. The URL that you'd probably want to grab would be the complete knowledge base of TREC, for example, or the complete NAR knowledge base, or where all of their articles are published. A lot of times that's support or help dot whatever, but that's what you want to have, because and I think this is tracking like 300 something pages, 700 something pages, forgive me. So in this case, we have support, solutions, email, general, like each page here was automatically gathered because I put in this URL and I just said get data. And this is every page that's on that URL. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, because I want my bot to have all this information. Again, if you're going with the NAR example or the Trek example, maybe you don't want to select every page. Maybe there's some stuff on there that's not relevant to your chatbot. In this case, this is a support page for the software that we're literally teaching. So everything is relevant, right? And I'm going to hit train bot. And this could take a bit of time to do. I think depending on the number of pages you have, it could take even longer, right? And so while that's training, while that's essentially going through that process, it's learning all of the information. If you guys have ever seen that Marvel movie, The Age of Ultron, or I guess the Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, very much like that, where that scene where Ultron, played by James Spader, would access the internet and learn everything there is to know about a specific topic, which made him super strong and super scary. Same thing is with this. So it'll literally learn everything for email errors for supported SMTPs, which may not mean anything to people on this call, but as someone who has to resolve that issue on a regular basis, that's very helpful to me to be able to train that. So now when we want to trial the bot, we can ask it a question like, let me just get through this here. Okay. Sorry, I want to trial the bot so you can see what it's like. We can say something like, hey, what's the best practices for sending an email through this system? And depending on whether it's actually fully trained it or not yet, okay, so it looks like it's training it so far. So to send emails through our system follows practice, be concise, use bullet points, use responsive email design, preview and test, use appropriate font. So this is actually very helpful. I'm going to give this a thumbs up because that's a helpful bit of information there, right? And so I can ask it anything that existed on those pages that I trained it on, right? If I try to ask it for, what's Chuck's favorite, brand of hot dog, it won't know that. It'll say, I don't know that, I wasn't trained on that. But if that information exists anywhere on that site, it'll take that, provide context, and give a yes or no answer on that, which is like really freaking cool. The difficulty with this system is that you can only train one domain at a time. So like I had to train all 754 links of GoHighLevel. And if I want to go to like John Loomer, who's a digital marketer who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. Everyone go follow this guy, by the way. He's amazing. If I wanted to train people on John Loomer's marketing style, now that this is done, then I can go here and I can go to John Loomer's blog, for example. And this is John Loomer Digital. This is his blog. I'm gonna grab this. I probably want to go free. I'm just gonna leave it as it is right now. Grab the johnloomer.com/blog, pop back over here, and then we're gonna get data, and then we're gonna train all of the stuff for John Loomer. So now this thing is like smart with the software because it knows how to use software. And it's going to be really good at marketing because I'm having it read a marketer's stuff. Joseph, an example of you can have it read all of Napoleon Hill's books that you just purchased. If you have PDF versions of those, all of Dan Kennedy's versions. And then you can literally ask this thing, hey, what would Dan Kennedy have to say about sending email marketing? Or that's a bad example, but it'll pull that knowledge base too. So don't think that you simply have to pick like a website. You can pick a PDF of a book. You can pick a transcript of a YouTube video that you've done in the past, anything that you want to train the bot on there. And so that's one half of training the bot, okay? Do we have any questions about that before I get into customizing bot responses? It's okay if we do, it's okay if we don't. No, this is kind of heady. Probably going to watch it 1 or 2 times to get the hang of it. Okay. So when we're customizing the bot responses, right, this is basically saying like this top one is if they ask a question that can be found on one of these websites, give this kind of information. This one is saying if they ask a question or anything similar to a question, give this answer. So it's a little stronger, right? And so I like to go through, 7 questions. So there's 7 questions. This blog of Ryan's blog here, there are 7 questions here, which are basically what you want to ask your prospect to get them to work with you. What made you decide to reach out? Everything works perfect. What's the outcome look like? What's your end goal in working with me? And so knowing these questions, we go here, and basically if they say like, I have questions about the service, right? You save that, and the answer is, great, I'd love to help. And what's question number 1? What made you decide to reach out? You save that. I'm going to add another Q&A here. And I'm going to say, like, if somebody's like, how can I get more information about your company? To get more information about my company, check out www.smartshark.com or follow us on social at smartshark. And then you can go through this, and it's like, actually a great example of this, Lindy, would be your your lead magnet, that checklist of things that you would want sellers to do before they can sell their home.
Right.
That would be something you can program into this, where it's like, they're like, I want to sell my home, but I don't know where to start. The answer can be like, awesome. A great place to start is with my free sellers checklist, which you can find at link, whatever that link is. I don't have it on hand, but you can do that. And then so anytime somebody asks your Facebook pages or your text message or your website, like, I want to list my home, how can I get more property? I'm, this, that, you can send that. Now you can also, and this might actually be a better use case, what you can also do is set up automated appointment booking, which I love this. So essentially, there's 2 ways that this can flow. Number 1 is if somebody asks a question that you don't have, or your bot doesn't have the answer.
Okay, quick, I kind of want to call.
Sorry. I'm on the way to Barry's and I have a brand new tire.
On warranty?
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck.
Awesome.
That's it. Bye.
Awesome, man. I was gonna say, might want to pause yourself or mute yourself, but that's all good, my friend. So looking at this, you can either have it send the booking link, right? Which I'm not a fan of sending the booking link, because that's an action that they have to take, right? It's like, imagine the flow is like, I want more information. It's like, yeah, click on this link and then find a time and then enter your name. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it works in a lot of cases, and it is a great filter for not wasting your time. But then again, you really don't want to turn away anybody in this real estate market at this point, unless they flat out disqualify themselves in a different way. And so the way I like to have it is leaving this unchecked, which if they say like, hey, I want to sell my house, and you're like, great. Instead of click on this link, it's what day works best for you. And they're like, either Tuesday or Thursday. Like, and then the bot will be like, great. So Tuesday the 19th, I have 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. Which one works best for you? The lady will say 7:30. And then the bot will automatically go in as it's set up right here. If you have your settings the way that this one is, the bot will go in and set that appointment up for you inside your calendar with the information that it gave you, with no action required by you and no booking required by the prospect. And so for that reason, I love this feature. I think this is the one that makes the most sense for the majority of businesses, where you're not getting anything by sending them a link. Like, the only people, I'll be honest with you guys, the only people who benefit from sending a link are people who are running retargeting ads at a very high level. Where, I'm running an ad specifically if they landed on my booking page and they didn't book, like, I don't do that. right? You don't need to do that. You can do that, but I don't do that and you don't need to. And so that use case aside, every other use case makes the most sense to have this booking thing as it stands right now, because then you can be like, let me just say what I have here and go back to the trial and be like, hey, how can I get more info from you guys? Like if I wanted to set an appointment. Okay, so this, I guess I didn't train it properly, or it needs a little more time, because when I asked it this, it was giving me the information from the GoHighLevel website, when what I wanted it to do was this part here. So I think it might take a second here. Maybe I should have set this up yesterday so we could do it today, because it takes a bit to train it. But in a perfect world, when I said, or maybe it's like, how can I set, or can I set an appointment with you? We'll try that. Okay, yeah, so it's just not trained yet. I think I have to refresh it and all that. But when you have it set up this way, the next thing there is like putting it somewhere, right? And so you can put this bot, just end the guide there. And I want to end that. I love they have that training stuff. So now as you guys go into this and build your bot, those little tooltips that you saw on my screen will show up for yours too. So it'll actually walk you through it in a really nice way, which I think is cool. Okay, so that's the setting of the conversational AI. And the way to like deploy that in your site, make sure everything's saved. I'm going to go back, drop down to sites, this thing called chat widget. You pick the chat type. You could do a live chat. I like these a lot because it's like it's directly to the person. That being said, this makes a lot more sense because not everyone's gonna be by their computer all the time, right? That's just the nature of that. Make sure you're getting an email field here too when you're setting up this chatbot, because that will allow you to email them later on and build your list out. The legalese associated with this, you want to make sure you have reply stop, or by submitting, you agree to receive SMS, etc. Agency branding, I'm gonna flip this off for you guys so it doesn't show powered by Smart Shark, although you certainly can have it that way if you want. Anyway, in order to get this going, you get this code and you either drop this in your WordPress, which is one way to do it, or you drop it in your existing site. So if you have that code, you go to sites, you go to funnels, let's say book with me. Just gonna pull this random thing out here. Sorry, back up a little bit. And you go settings and you enable your chat widget. So if you're putting that into a page or a site that's built into your Smart Shark platform, your GoHighLevel platform, you don't have to go and grab that code for the chat widget and drop it in. You just flip this switch and then that chat widget will appear down at the bottom there, moving forward. So that's really it, guys. That's all it takes to build this chatbot, and then you just have to decide a couple things on your end. Which, number one, like what do I want the chatbot to be able to do? Like, what's the purpose of this thing? Is it for sales? Is it for customer support? Is it for onboarding? Like put a moniker on it. Like, this is my support chatbot. This is my fulfillment chatbot. Next stage is when you know what information you want to train it on, either do some research yourself or ask ChatGPT for the best articles on those topics. Because again, I don't use ChatGPT for content creation like I used to. I still do, but not as much. I use it for research for the most part to know what I should be talking about, because that's the one part I can't do well is research and write, because that's very time consuming for me. Might not be for everybody. So have ChatGPT give you some sources of like real estate compliance stuff or like good marketing skill set stuff, and train that chatbot up to be able to not only handle the questions you have. So step 3 is write out your question and answer for the customized part. What's your conversation flow look like? And the best way to do this, I've found, and certainly show up on Friday to get Jonathan's perspective on this, because he's the only trained salesperson. Joseph is too. I'm just not. But with that, find out what your sales process looks like, map that out. Whatever questions you're asking, fill those in with the customized answers, and do the same thing for questions you receive often. So for that Q&A section at the bottom where I was like putting those questions in, think about that as your objection handling field. Okay, so the majority of objections aren't statements. If you guys have noticed, they're questions, like kind of designed to be statements. Because like even if you're like, hey, here's an IUL play, and they're like, oh, you know, I don't know that's going to work, right? They'll say something like that. That's not a statement. Like, I know it sounds like a statement, but that's a question. Like, is this going to work? Can you make me feel confident this is going to work? And so if they type something like, you know, I don't think an IUL is right for me, have a rebuttal to that. Program that into your, you know, your software to some degree. Same thing with Lindy. If they're like, well, might not be a great time to buy a house. Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell my house? Have a nicely crafted response to that. Program it in there so when anybody's asking your bot that question on your site, that's not something you have to come in and step in and answer. The system can take care of that. And my homework for y'all would be to take those steps, build out that chatbot, and build out a single use case chatbot. Single use case. Don't teach it everything. Teach it how to do your compliance, how to do sales, you pick one, and build that out with how this video went. From there, what you'll do, and we can touch on this later on, is you're going to take the work that you've done for the single-use chatbot, and you're going to widen the scope of it out a little bit through duplication and additional training. But I don't want to get you there. I don't want to get you your everything bagel until I know that we have some dough boiling and cooking, right? And so let's set a goal for this time next week. I'm going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes. Anybody who's on this call or watching this, who hops on that call, or who gets it to me ahead of time, I'm going to take a look at your chatbot flow personally and help you like iron out any kinks that I see, any logic gaps in there. Joseph can tell you it's one of those things that it's a lot more complicated to build out these conditional logic segments than, you know, you originally think by looking at it. Getting in there with your hands in the systems and the wires, it can be a little bit daunting for sure. And so what I want to offer everybody is, as you put that together, it's okay to put it together wrong. It's okay to put it together halfway. I'm like the worst teacher in the world. I'm like, you literally get points for showing up to this class. The reason is there's no way that you'd be able to get it right your first time. And if you do, you're a protege and you deserve, you know, everything good coming to you. But for 99% of us, myself included, try it, mess it up. I'll be happy to review it with everybody and give it the level of attention it deserves to get it right. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions on anything we went over today? I know we went kind of fast, but I thought it was relevant to where you all are at in your business. Questions, concerns, comments?
You just start at the beginning and repeat all of that?
Super slow this time, right? Like
I'm a little with Chuck on that one, but yeah.
I totally agree.
You recorded it, so that's good.
I did record it, and I'm recording it using Fathom, which means it's like it's transcribed
right,
and summarized. So you know, you take a look at that. You can always go back to specific timestamps of things that I went over, or Lindy, just because we have you and I have calls somewhat regularly, we can always address these, you know, live together too, if that's more, you know, more helpful.
That's fine. I've got so much other stuff right now to work on. This is not at the top of the priority. So
absolutely, totally understand.
Okay, but interesting stuff nonetheless.
For sure, for sure.
All right.
So
all right, I've got to run. Good to see y'all. I need to run, so I will talk to y'all later.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Jonathan's trying to join. I don't see him as he says he's trying to join. I don't see him in the requests though.
Send him the link, brother.
Oh, I bet you he used the wrong one. This is the same link it'll be every week, right?
Yeah, this is just my link, you know.
Hopefully, hopefully I didn't put the wrong link on the calendar here.
Oh, that's okay. If
You
you
didn't. I used it.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
I just got an email saying Jonathan Laudermilk is trying to join your Zoom for the Monday ramp-up call.
Oh, I got you. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you, man.
Good to be here. I just click on links so they take me where I want to go.
That's what I do until they don't.
That too.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we just wrapped up, man. We went into how to build that chatbot out, a couple use cases for it, some best practices, and yeah, man. Anything you want to take a look at? We got 20 more minutes.
Now just give me the recording when you're done so we can upload it and do all the things.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome.
Is Chuck's background moving?
Yeah, of course.
I haven't seen one of those that actually like moves. That's crazy.
I'm at the beach. The palm trees are waving.
Yeah, your face is just glitching in and out of the matrix right now.
Pretty sure this one, is this one moving or static?
I don't know. Well, Todd, you can finally ask if space is gay or straight.
This space is gay. This is definitely gay space right up here. All that. Yeah. Well, cool, guys. Yeah, Chuck, do you have any questions on what we went over today? Do you want to look into anything in greater depth, anything at all?
I'm just going to need to poke and probe around with it.
Yeah. So what the aliens said when they abducted me. So I
No, for today, I'm good.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, as always, dude, anytime something comes up, let's chat. Actually, let's chat a little bit later today if you have a little bit of time.
You pick it. I'm just sitting there working today, so I'm going to be here all afternoon.
Well, sweet. I've got calls and meetings until about 2 my time.
Which is 4 my time, but that's whatever's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, let's circle back around that time. I'd love to touch base with you on that and just see what we can do, man. I think it'd be exciting.
Okay. Look forward to it.
Well, awesome, guys. All right. Well, so for those of you watching this video, the best place to catch this recording and other recordings, check out the guides section inside of the group that you're in right now. For more long form style videos like this, check out our YouTube channels. Those are getting built out as well. For short form stuff, you can catch that from all of us here. Smart Shark, I want to thank you all for joining this and watching this after the fact. And if we can support you in any way on your journey, just let us know. And we're here for you. So that being said, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. I will see you all next week with your homework, hopefully. So see you then.
I'll try to keep the dog from eating it.
Feed one of these guys too. They'll be fine. You can't see them out here because that's all right, guys.
Cool.
Take care.
I'll take care.
If y'all could hang back for a second.
Let's hop in after this because I want to cut the recording off.
Okay. All right. Cool.